I worked in travel for nearly 20 years, mostly in customer service, resolving travelers' post-vacation complaints. The one thing that stood out to me the most in that time is the simple truth that some people should not travel. These are their stories.
Our complaint. Your air travel operations. On both my excursions, my wife and I were traveling with another couple. For the trip last April, we were traveling with close friends. And for the trip this November, we were traveling with my family, daughter and son-in-law.
Good to know the complete cast of characters.
All of us live in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're leaving and returning from this destination. From the very beginning of our planning on both trips, we let your company know that it was important that we travel together, particularly when scheduling our international flights. Both the agent I worked with, as well as your air department, knew of this important criteria and told us that they made notes of it in our profiles.
Yes. It was noted and included on the reservation, linking the bookings together.
When your company reserved our flights, we were all on the same planes, and until the very last second all seemed good.
Correct. That is how we booked it with the airlines.
But then on both trips, your company, on its own initiative, changed flights at the last minute and separated our parties.
Why on earth do you assume that we did it?
On the Portugal flight, the day before we were to return to the U.S., I received an email from your cruise company that they had changed our flight and were now routing us on a different airline through different cities.
I think the email you're referencing stated that your flights had changed. Not that the cruise line changed the flights. Please be accurate.
Not only did you change our airlines at the last minute, you then put our friends on a different airline.
We did not.
We spent all day with you trying to figure out what happened and if it could be fixed. Once you had changed the flights, you said that they couldn't fix anything. We were routed on a flight that went to Miami, and our friends were put on a flight that went through Chicago. This was extremely frustrating, but because we were on the return flights and things can happen, I just let it go and didn't write you to complain.
Until now. Okay. This one is pretty simple to explain. They booked their cruise and air through the cruise company. Probably got a discount on the air by doing so, and also requested that everyone fly on the same flights. It is very common for a cruise line to be able to link the cruise reservations and the air to get all travelers on the same flights. There is usually a reasonable fee to do this. After a cruise, travel company or travel agent books your airfare, they have absolutely no reason to change the air, unless the embarkation or disembarkation time or location changes. I mean, think about it. What possible advantage would a cruise or travel company have to randomly and arbitrarily change your air at the last minute? None. So what happened? Quite simply, this was the airlines. Airlines can change flights, timing, routing or schedules for various reasons, and it's actually quite common. Airlines consider factors like fuel costs, passenger demand, airport availability, bad weather, air traffic congestion, changes in airport operating hours, security measures, government regulations, and yes, profitability. A carrier may decrease the frequency of service to a given destination or adjust flight departure times to optimize aircraft utilization. The mistake these travelers made was assuming that it was the cruise company that changed their flights, and they were incorrect. Moreover, when discussing this with them, they refused to believe that the cruise line was not to blame and demanded a cash refund, which they did not get. The cruise company offered a goodwill future cruise credit, and they eventually accepted, once they realized that cash was not on the table. Be very careful when you point fingers.